The next 6 weeks in Australia will see some 1,000 mares on the market being bought, being sold through key English sales, the English Chairman sale, 2 English digital sales, and of course the Magic Millions Broodmare sale. And this, of course, time presents a great opportunity for breeders to add and improve their own bloodstock portfolio. Now, the mare you start with is, of course, a huge factor in your future commercial success. She has, I think, around about 80% of the control over your future commercial destiny, and therefore getting the right mare, starting with the right mare, given you know that you're going to have the same set costs in terms of production and pretty similar costs in terms of service fees going forward. You have to make sure that you start with the mare that's not putting too big a ceiling on your commercial success. So with this in mind, I've come up with 6 pillars that I think all buyers of broodmares should work through when trying to select the most commercial broodmare prospect for their portfolio. Really hope this helps. So let's run through them. The starting point, pillar number 1, is type. Now, of course, a good commercial type generally means a greater chance of racetrack success. It is absolutely accurate that yearling sale prices and prize money correlate. Obviously, the higher the better. So look for mares that were good commercial types themselves. They sold well as yearlings, they sold well as weanlings perhaps. They were bought by good judges. Or on the other side, look for mares that had real talent, speed, class, and generally those mares will have those same commercial attributes that buyers are looking for down the track. Type is very heritable, and that will have the biggest impact on what kind of money you can make down the track. 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x service fee all comes down to you being in the top echelons of that particular size progeny that year. Once buyers have worked through a sale and selected for type, they then want to gain confidence from the pedigree. And the number one thing a lot of buyers will look for is race performance in the dam. So your mare being talented, whether she was a black type winner, a Metro winner in Sydney or Melbourne, or a Metro winner full stop, or perhaps even in filly or mare that was unraced but had a lot of talent, showed a lot of talent in trials, or the trainer had a lot of respect for. Of course, the further away you get from the race ability being shown on the page, the more of a story you have to tell. But I think always, if you can, start with the mare that at least had the physical attributes to be a top class performer, even if she wasn't able to have that captured in her pedigree page. Of course, we know that the top 15% of each generation, of racing generation, they'll go on as mares to produce 50% of the stakes winners for that generation going forward. So no doubt, race ability is certainly highly heritable, and like I say, buyers love to see it. They love to buy stock out of young, well-performed running mares. Pillar number 3, broodmare sire. There's nothing more off-putting as a weanling, yearling buyer, breeze-up buyer, than seeing a progeny of a mare by a really bad stallion, or a stallion you've had bad luck with, or that have maybe burnt you in the past. I think by starting with at least a sire that's decent, that's got some respect, or leaves a lot of winners, or perhaps overcame the odds in some way, I think that's really important. I think you don't have to be the champion sire. Your mare doesn't have to be by, the leading sire of a generation, but I think she needs to be by a decent sire. Certainly not a sire that really is off-putting. Rightly or wrongly, a bad stallion really does lower your ceiling when it comes to sale time. And of course, we know too, from a long-term perspective, the best stallions generally become the best broodmare sires, to try and increase your odds by starting with a mare by a good stallion, at least a decent stallion. Before, families with currency and recency. I gain a lot of confidence as a yearling buyer when I see a family that is producing horses that I have respect for, that are running around currently or have recently run around. A family that's produced recent stakes horses. Now, if your mare herself is not a high-class race mare in her own right, I think you do need to have a stakes class horse inside their first generation, either a sibling or the dam of your broodmare. I think that adds a lot of value, and of course also helps you get into the right sales when it comes to yearling selection time by the likes of Inglis, Magic Millions, and New Zealand Bloodstock. Pillar 5 is age and opportunity. Of course, the lowest risk comes in buying a mare off the track or a mare in her first or second cover and cultivating her career from there. But where you are looking to buy mares, and there can be great value found in buying mares on their second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth cover, whatever it might be. But if you are buying those mares, of course, they do come at greater risk. So you need to really do your homework, talk to breeders, talk to vendors, talk to trainers, talk to agents, work out what's the mare got coming through. Are they by high probability stallions? Are they in high probability hands? Are they high probability types? Did they sell well, etc.? And is there an opportunity for upside for my mare from her own progeny, but also perhaps in her immediate family too? You might do some assessment there. All in all though, these things can come off. There is big opportunity for upside, as I've mentioned. Of course, the last 12 months we've been lucky enough to secure Fireballs Dam and Guest House Dam. But again, I'd say to you, if you are going to buy a mare that's beyond her third foal, we know that the market will heavily discount them, heavily lower the ceiling of what those horses can make if a mare can't produce a stakes run inside those first three foals. So go and do your homework. Make sure you get a good enough discount to cover off the extra risk you're taking. And finally, be prepared to own this mare long term. Pillar 6 is Stallion Equity Suitability. I've mentioned before, with the portfolios I manage, we own broodmares to support our Stallion Equity, high probability Stallion Equity that we have a lot of faith in, either proven sires, young horses on the up, or first or unproven stallions that we have a lot of faith in given their elite profiles and likely opportunity at stud. So we give ourselves two tiers of commercial upside. One is, of course, the Stallion Equity working the right way for us, and number two is owning the mares that produce high value stock and of course increase their own values and of course sell very well going forward. So making sure that if you have a stallion in mind that you're going to use, that the mares that you are buying suit them on pedigree, on type, that is really important to your final result. Just to recap the 6 pillars, number 1s, 5 and 6 I think are non-negotiables. Type is non-negotiable, age and opportunity, doing that homework is non-negotiable, and finally number 6, making sure that mare is genetically and physically compatible with the stallions you most likely use, I think is really, really important too. Pillars 2, 3 and 4, of course you'd love to tick all those boxes. That would mean, of course though, you're probably paying more. So I think if you're going to start, I think you need to at least try and fill 2 of those 3 pillars. 2, which is race performance, buy a good sire, is pillar 3, and pillar 4 is from a current recent stakes class family. Making sure you fulfill 2 of those 3 to make sure that you don't put too big a ceiling on yourself come yearling sale or weanling sale trade time. Finally, on values. How do you value a broodmare? Well, I think obviously finding comparables in the market is the best way. So go back, have a look at what other mares by Schnitzel have made with similar profiles. So go back and look at all the Schnitzel mares that are sold at Inglis and Magic Millions the last few years, or sorry, the last 12 months really, and find ones that have similar profiles to the mare you're looking at and see what they made. That'll give you a good idea. Covering Sire, of course, their 2026 stud fee will have a huge impact on that inbuilt value to that mare, the pregnancy she's carrying, and of course, if that covering stallion does have yearlings, his most recent yearling average price too will have some weight as well. If you are buying a mare in foal, we like to use what you call the get out in 1 year rule. So can you, at the value, get out in 1 year with the foal the mare's carrying? Think about where she's going to sit in that stallion's book, which sale that foal is most likely to get, where that stallion might likely average, and work out whether, if your mare can produce a decent foal, can she get you out from her purchase price within one foal, the foal she's carrying. And I think that's quite a good rule for buying mares in foal. So where do we find the most value? I probably think the most undervalued mare in the marketplace is the good, well-performed fast mare. She's probably a black type place getter or a multiple metro winner. By a decent stallion without being by a champion sire, and then maybe lacks a couple of generations away, a couple of generations from black type, or a generation from black type, I should say. But she's good looking, she's fast, and she's by a decent stallion. She just lacks a little bit of pedigree up front. I think those mares are probably the best buying, because I do think they can sell very well out of them down the track too. A good example of this is a mare that we purchased off the track called Festivity. I'll show you a pedigree there, but yeah, she was a very good looking mare. One of the higher priced Niconies of her year by a decent stallion. Won 4 from 7. Gay really thought she had stakes class ability. Injured at her 7th start, so we never saw that, but she's gone on to be a wonderful producer. She sold very well for us, and of course we sold her before she was at that commercial crossroads of whether she was going to kick on and produce good horses or not. And of course she has kicked on and done an amazing job for her new owners there at Lime Country, Joe and Greg Griffin. Now the dam of Samana, Gala Queen, a really good 2-year-old from this season, Knight's Bridge as well. And they've done it incredibly well with Festivity, as did we in our little breeding group when we owned Festivity as well. Well, I hope those 6 pillars are of help to you. No doubt I've missed some things. Please do get in touch if you think I've overlooked something, or if you have any further questions. As I say, just doing this to try and help, and I hope you get some value out of it.